Hey, everybody. Shannon Spake here. It is March 5th, Wednesday. So excited to be back here on NASCAR Daily. I'm also really excited to let you know that we have our first official sponsor. It's For Hers. It's going to be with us all month long because it's Women's History Month. And we're going to be talking this month to 4 different women who are just doing amazing things in motorsports. And today, we're going to get to talk to one of the most powerful women in NASCAR. So the role of women in NASCAR and sports in general has certainly changed a lot through the decades. And a woman who has had a front row seat for a lot of those changes in the sport of NASCAR is my guest right now, Kelley Earnhardt Miller. She's a CEO of Junior Motorsports, co-owner. She's a mom. She's a wife. She's a daughter. She's a sister. She is a real badass. And she's also a woman that I've had conversations with over the years. And I always feel empowered when I walk away from the conversations with her. So I hope everybody enjoys this. It's a real treat. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for that kind introduction.
Well, it's deserved.
I feel the same about you and, love all the women power that we have in NASCAR. We have banded together to make a lot of strides and do a lot of awesome things in the sport.
Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest things as I've gotten older in this sport. As I do feel when I first started, there's a lot of competition, maybe some jealousy, and that's always going to exist with women and men. But I do feel like women nowadays really lift each other up. I've read this thing called the shine theory, where it's I shine or you shine, I shine, and I truly, truly believe that if I can leave a mark on any of this, it's the way that I treat women who are coming up into the sport.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm huge into the psychology, and I'm a Enneagram 2 by nature, so that means I'm a helper. So I
need to figure out what is that Enneagram 2. I don't even know what that is. Is that a book?
So no, Enneagram's sort of a personality test thing.
I gotta
so there's
do
like
this.
1 through 8. So 2s are the helpers, and that is me. I like to see people succeed. So I've always naturally been, just a supporter and a lifter and a helper. I think that early on in our sport, when women were trying to make their ways and trying to make strides, when it was harder. And so some of what you mentioned, did exist. And also that balance between, who's here to be the moms and take care of the kids and be in the role of like a driver's wife or a crew's wife or whatever, and who's here to work and who's here to pave a way for a career. And there's nothing wrong with either situation. It just that women in general, kind of like look and go, what's this person doing? What kind of territory are they trying to come into? But I do feel like, just as we've made strides with the world and stereotypes and women in general being involved in our sport that is very male dominated, we have seen the need to lift each other up, and that what the boat saying, sinking ships, blah blah blah,
that's
rising
right,
tides, whatever it is, right? That we do better by lifting each other up, right? So I think that's important, and I think that we've come a long way and a lot of maturity, amongst the women in our sport.
Yeah, we're going to get into all that. I want to talk to you about, what you do, your day-to-day stuff. I know it's changed as your kids have gotten older, I'm sure, right? You're not having to like make lunches and get them off to school. But what
just
is
one.
It? Just one. Oh yeah. What's the like
Wyatt is 13, so he's still
right.
home. So
that's
yeah.
right.
So,
okay. So then what is a day in the life of Kelley? Because I've already made lunches, brought kids to school, worked out, gotten over here. So what is a day? What does today look like for you?
All right, we're very similar except for the workout. Yeah, so my mornings begin at 6. I like to have my 30 minutes of coffee. It's kind of me and my husband's time, LW, to just sit and connect or read our devotional or whatever, for those 30 minutes. And then, I hop up about 5 or 10 minutes before 6:30 to work on breakfast for Wyatt. And so he likes to eat breakfast first and kind of wake up and do his thing and then get ready for school. So we have to be out the door for school at 7:30, which normally is L-Dub's role to take him to school. And then I'll start doing my shower. And so in between there, I'm doing things at the house like throw throwing a load of laundry in for somebody,
Yep.
or, picking up something or something that I've had on my mind. I'm a, nonstop doer, so I don't ever quit
Mm-hmm.
thinking, right? So, and I like my house very tidy, so I'm always picking and straightening and doing. But
Oh yeah.
get ready and usually try to get here to the office between 8:30 and 9. I've got a 30-minute drive, so just whenever I get going, and then work and meetings. It just depends. Like this week, it's like every day meetings, like up through 1 or 2, and then I kind of have a little bit of freedom in the afternoon, and then I don't leave here till 5, and
Girl.
go home, cook dinner. And try to have some downtime, whatever that looks like. It's so funny. I'm on the board of a local community bank,
Of course you are.
and there's 2 of us women. She's a president of a real estate company, and the rest are men. And we're in the board meetings, and they take a couple hours, right? 2 to 3 hours. And it's nearing 5:30, and they last 3 to 5:30ish, 6 o'clock. And if it's over, I'm like, I got to get up out of here. But the men like stand around and talk. And, I'll make the joke. I'll be like, hey, I got to get home. Like, I'm in charge of dinner. I'm in charge of making sure this was done, that was done, right? So, that's just the life of our roles. But, and I love the husbands that figure that out for their wives. So you go, guys.
I always say, if you want to have it all, you have to do it all. And listening to
So
you
true.
say that is true. Do you sleep with a notebook by your bed? I do, right? Or your phone, so that you can kind of get up and if you do, from a work standpoint, what are some of the things that are on that for Kelley Earnhardt, for Junior Motorsports, for you guys? Let's talk about like that part of your life, because I know, I mean, you just said it takes up from 8:30 to 5 o'clock during the day, so it is a large part. What are some of the things that you want to accomplish this season with the team?
Yeah, my to-do list it's funny. I have a little list right here, that's a checklist. I'm a checklist girl,
Yeah,
right?
I got my notebook right
And
here too.
yeah, I mean, I have a big notebook, but I get confused because I'll start taking notes for meetings and stuff, and then I write stuff all over the place. So the other day I just had to like put it on this piece of paper and it's crazy. It's all over the stuff. Like I'm preparing for, it's not just about Junior Motorsports. I help Dale manage a lot of his side of the business. So like I have things on here, like we're meeting with an investor tomorrow for the Cars tour. And so I have questions, I'm working on that. I needed to order some books because I had a speaking engagement, and like my list is just crazy. I need to create a job description for a new position that we're looking at for the Cars tour again. Like a lot of my work is, I have such a great staff for Junior Motorsports, from a marketing and sponsorship and all of those things, that I don't have to get in the weeds there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my time is spent like on Dale's relationships with, High Rock and our Amazon, like our broadcast partners right now, are really into the throes of what the season looks like, there. And so we're just working on this documentary for my dad that's coming out, that's going to be on Amazon. So a lot of stuff like that. So it's really funny that, what my to-do list looks like. It's all over the place. So it's a lot to do, but yeah, I love it though. I wouldn't trade it.
How much of legacy
Yeah.
and being the person who sort of has the ability to kind of carry that legacy on, like the Earnhardt responsibility, how much of that
I think
drives
it's
you?
every day for us, right? Dell and I were talking a couple months ago, and I said, ultimately, Dale, we race. Like, we are racers. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we grew up in it. We were born into it. We grew up with it.
Yeah.
And we know a lot of things, but this is what we're passionate about, and this is what we know. And so everything that we do is driven by, racing, and carrying on the legacy of our family.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about my son, he's racing, thinking about my girls and what they're doing. I've got Carson, who works for the Cars tour in social and digital media. And so, everything that we touch on a daily basis is wrapped up in some sort of racing. I talk about the Cars tour. It's a small grassroots tour, but it's important to Dale. It's what we grew up on racing. So, yeah, everything is led with that mindset. And Shannon, this about our sport. Everybody says, oh, this is a family sport.
Yeah.
The relationships that matter. It's the same thing for my people. Like every day, the 140 employees that we have, we're all hopefully working towards the same goals in whatever area of business, but it all is around racing, and they have that same passion. So many of the people that have been involved in our sport for a long time, and the new people that are getting involved too, it's you just start with that passion for it, and I think that's what carries and drives you.
How many times do you say, like, if we didn't love what we did, we wouldn't do it, right? Because it takes up so much time. I do remember, Kelley,
challenges.
Yeah, I remember when I was, you had me on your podcast one time, which was just a great conversation you and I had, and something that you said to me that I remember, and I would say think about many times a week, is the fact that we fill so many other people's cups. What is it that fills your cup? So what is filling your cup right now? Is anything? It seems like there's a lot going on.
So and it's funny you asked, because I just did this last night. But so what fills my cup? I like to scrapbook. And I have gotten into making trucker hats. So I don't know if you've seen like the custom trucker hats, but it's so funny because they kind of became mildly popular, and I thought, wow, this would be a great idea for our retail store. So I had our licensing group make like patches for Junior Motorsports and for our car numbers and stuff. And so I just said to the girl in the retail store,
do you have one? Do you have one around there that I could see?
Yeah, no, I don't have one handy, but
we'll get a shot of it and we'll throw it up.
I know, that's what I was gonna say. I'll find it on my phone. And so I started doing that, and then it led to like this collection of patches, because you get online and you just start like seeing things. But the funny thing is I did and I don't do it often, but I did a party last night for a friend who wanted to get some girls together and make it.
I'm exhausted just hearing you
talk about this is the funny part. This is the funny part. So someone knew that I did it, and Brittany Logano called, and she's like, hey, they have a nice Christmas party for their road crew people and their team people. And she said, I'd love to have your hats at the event and do it. I said, oh, yeah, no problem. So we went and did it. And I have a couple girlfriends that help, and we have and it's like therapy though, Shannon. Like you look for that out. You look for like what fills your cup.
That's right.
It's just like a therapeutic. I like crafty. I like design and things like that. And Brittany, when we were all said and done, Joey, actually, it was funny. He's like, Brittany told me you were doing this. And I thought, how in the world are you doing this? But yeah, so there's a little snapshot that's one we made last night.
Oh, I love it. Does that take me to the racetrack and tell me
I'm pretty?
Oh, I love it.
But you just add all the little decorative. That 100 is their son's car number. So that's her racetrack hat. But it's fun. But yeah, my cup gets filled with just helping people, just peddling. I like planting and gardening and just
you're operating on a totally different clock than I am. Helping people. And when I'm going to make, I don't know if this is going to be a hard left, but when I think, and I'm going to talk about racing a little bit more and helping people, and I'm not saying that you helped Justin Allgaier, but the success that you had with him after the amount of time that he's been in the sport, the amount of time that he's been with you, all the things he's provided to you guys, and to see him win last year, the championship, to see him get into the date, that to have him be the one that sort of does this lately.
Yeah.
How much does that fill your cup for him and his family?
Rewarding. It's been really rewarding. When we got the opportunity to do the cup program, I mean, that's the one cool thing. First, let me step back. For the one cool thing about Junior Motorsports that I love is and maybe this is that mothering feature from, childhood of when We always talk about mine and Dale's relationship and all, and it just carries forward. But, I get to do a lot of nurturing for Junior Motorsports because we are a stepping stone for drivers.
Yeah.
And so, the Noah Gregsons that come through, or the Josh Berries, or our late model drivers like William Byron who came through here, or Christian Eckes, there's a lot of opportunity that we've had to just nurture. And, a lot of times, these drivers come through, maybe they're not local, their parents don't live around or whatever it is. And so LW and I just kind of take them under our wing and, kind of be that second mom and dad kind of figure for them. And, you do that for different people in different stages of their life. And I think for Justin, going back to your question, Justin, is an accomplished race car driver, has had a great career. And we sit in a spot to bring a level of confidence to Justin, that he needs to do well. And that's so important to his personality and character, so back to the cup thing, in terms of Justin, running that race for us, man, that was really just like full circle, because we couldn't think of, when we sit here and think about what does the cup program look for Junior Motorsports and who was going to be our driver, we were thinking outside the box of like, oh, well, who's really good that's not got a ride? Who's really good at Daytona that doesn't have a ride? And we just kept coming back to Justin because it's a complete circle. It's something our Junior Motorsports people can get behind. It was something our fans could get behind. Certainly the sponsor could get behind it. So, you just kind of look at like what, if you have a question about something, I feel like you need to study that a little bit more, right? Like, what's bothering me about this driver that's really good at Daytona that might can go out and win the race, but he's not checking these other boxes, And so like study on that. Like you said, you started before we got on here, sit with things.
Yeah.
Right? Sit with it.
Yeah.
Like if there's a little or a hiccup or something, but
he was the right guy.
He was just the right guy.
Grateful, great racers, been with the program, represents you guys well, all of that stuff.
And I think our culture here at Junior Motorsports, most everybody fits into it. Like, the new drivers that come in, the Sam Mayers that come in, Sammy Smith, we've got Connor Zillich this year. We've got
congratulations on the win, by the way.
And thank you. We're constantly, we're an evolving door sort of drivers, right? Because, they want to go on to the Cup Series. So, but our culture and that family environment and everything, it just really fits well, and it gives us an opportunity to kind of really mentor and grow people. And
I don't know if you've been asked this question, and I apologize if you had, but one thing when I see you and Dale at Daytona, and I saw just how much joy you guys had at Daytona, kind of getting ready for that event, being all just immersed in it, and then the finish, I as a human being can't help but think of the emotional tug that place represents for you. And I don't know if you've answered this question, and again, I'm sorry if you have, but what is it like going to a place that's given you so much but also taken so much from you as well?
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit, just kind of internally, that I wasn't at Daytona for my dad's death, so it isn't a place that emotionally, for me, even though that's where we lost Dad, it just isn't emotionally the same because I physically wasn't there, right? So I didn't go through the emotion of running down the racetrack like my brother, or going to the hospital, and then finding out the news. Like, I mean, I experienced it differently, which was emotional, but it wasn't the same connection. So Daytona for me, the good, there's so many fantastic memories. And I think, going back to my childhood, it's where we spent our vacation, in July. And it was like the highlight of our year, when we were 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, to like, oh my gosh, we get to go to the beach, and we didn't have to go to the racetrack, and we got to play at the pool and all this kind of thing. So there's so many good ingrained memories that I don't look at Daytona as a negative. It's the class of the field as it relates to speedways, events, and, the excitement that you get with the Daytona 500. So, and it's rewarding to go there and be successful. I mean, this whole experience for us, I think, was, we talked about legacy and talked about our family.
Yeah.
It was a check in the box, it was a check to box to go, okay, we got to experience this and do this too. And the fan engagement, I just loved reading all the comments. I haven't, a lot of comments that they hadn't watched racing since either Dale retired or my dad died. And we came back to watch the Junior Motorsports car because it was you and Dale. And, that all is just really fulfilling because, going back to the passion and why we're here and what we do.
You're a giver. You just mentioned that, right?
Yeah,
you're giving back to the race
do it.
fans. They've given so much to you and your family, and now you're giving back.
Yep.
I love that. I don't know. We can end this on and I can probably ask a rhetorical question that you've already answered, but when you kind of look at who you are and what you've done, what is it that makes you most proud?
Gosh, I guess to say my tiny humans first, right?
Yeah, totally. I get it.
I wouldn't be a good mom if I didn't.
People always ask me that. I'm like, Mom,
right, I know, my tiny humans that are big humans now.
Not too tiny anymore, by the way.
I know,
they're all
my big humans now.
Bigger.
Honestly, what is rewarding for me is, really just hearing about how I've made people feel. And I'm not touting or tooting my own horn, but this has stuck with me a long time. When this was said so much when my dad passed, and we would always see the graphic of my dad's face and the years of his life, right? 1951 to 2001. Mm-hmm. And you would see that in that dash in between. And people always say, none of, nothing that you do as an accolade, will trump the relationships that you have with people and the way you make people feel. So every day, like I just got up this morning, I look on my Facebook Messenger. I had somebody out in California, a girl out in California said that she wanted some, it was after I posted a trading card thing on Instagram. I was signing some old trading cards and I was like, oh, look what popped up.
I did see that.
An old Kelley Earnhardt driving card. And
see, you have done it all. Yeah.
Yeah. And this lady on Facebook, she's like, oh my God, I'd love to get one of those for my granddaughter. She's 11. And I said, well, I don't have any of these, but let me send you a book and whatnot. And she's like, oh, what can I pay you or whatever. And I'm like, don't worry about it. So, I threw a book in the mail and she got it. And she goes, oh my gosh, I'm just floored the fact that you sent it but it's just how you make people feel. It's walking downstairs and seeing race fans here that have traveled, that have stood out here, to meet Dale or do whatever and go talk to them and make them feel comfortable, making eye contact with people. I mean, there's just so many examples, and that is what leaves a lasting legacy for people. And that's what I'm most proud of, is that I have that innate ability to connect with people, to have relationships with people, to be down to earth, just share, just meet people where they are and share things. 'Cause that's like, we all are going through stuff, right?
Yep.
Like everybody has stuff. I have stuff, people, and everybody has it. And, that's what helps us get through all the days, right? Is like that little smile, that little something that somebody does for you that go, you know what? That's cool. That's good. It's a good human, right?
Yes. You here.
Being a good human.
Yes. Here's what I will say. You make people feel seen, Kelley. And I can tell you that from first, like I said, you and I have been around each other, maybe 5 to 10 times. And I truly feel like, we just sat down and feel like you make people feel seen. You make people feel important. Like their story is important. Where they are in life is important. And that is a quality in humans that is so valuable and so special. So thank you for being that. And thanks for this today. I always enjoy our conversations and walk away ready to run through a wall and probably look at my calendar and have to fill my calendar up a little bit as well because of all the stuff that you're doing. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me on. It's NASCAR women, all that we have accomplished. I'm super proud of the group and the people, and look forward to those that are, wanting to get into our sport and thinking about the same thing. It's a place for women. And so come on and join us.
You can do it, man. I was pregnant on pit road with twins and an expandable fire suit. If I could do that, we could do anything.
That's right.
Nothing can stop us.
That's right.
Thanks,
That's
Kelley.
Right. You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Bye. So besides running a race team, qualifying for the Daytona 500, winning races and championships, she's also making lunches, breakfast, and trucker hats. Thank you so much to Kelley Earnhardt for being on the show today, our first of 4 in Women's in History Month. So it's going to be awesome. Tomorrow, we've got Mamba in the house. You don't want to miss that. He's always here every Thursday. And I will be back on Friday as we get you ready for racing at Phoenix. Have a great day, everybody.